Okay, so in this tutorial, we'll try to build this personalized outreach agent, which will first qualify the leads that you have from the contact form, and then also draft a personalized message that you can pretty much copy paste and share it over the email. So I'll first show you the demo of what we are trying to build, and then we can straight away get into building. So hi, okay, I want to qualify all the leads from my DB. So this is what an agent will do. It try to give a call to lead qualification agent. And these are the two leads that have come up from the contact form. Again, simple, right? You just link it up, create a contact form, link it up to a sheet. And this is what the sheet would look like. So it would have 3 additional columns. So it rather has like all the columns first, and then it has got 3-4 additional columns for agent to work. So we got rating, reasoning, outreach, and reply mail. So rating basically determines if a lead is qualified or not. There is a determination criteria to it, which I'll talk about it later. And the reasoning why it is a qualified lead, and then outreach, what is the next step that we have to do. So these are the 3 things that have completely filled up based on that recent trend. So leads from your database have successfully qualified. If there's anything, you just need to let me know. Okay, so now draft a personalized email for these leads. So now what we'll do is we'll give a call to email outreach agent. This email outreach agent will basically fill in the details for the reply email, which you can just copy paste. Now this is highly personalized email because whatever was the past experience, whatever did they fill in, is actually we are trying to put everything into context over here, and then that will be using it for our email as a base. So we got some familiarity of the leads that we are trying to outreach. So that is how the agent will work. Now let's get straight into the building. By the way, all the tutorials, everything is already available into my community, which you can pretty much join, and then you can follow all the steps. All the prompts are pretty much you can copy paste the templates. You're also can download the templates as well. So let's get straight into building this agent. Let's get straight into building this agent. What we will do is we'll create a workflow. Okay, I'll just reduce the size of it. Okay, so we'll create a workflow. This is the basic workflow that you have when you start with N8N. I'll be following all the steps that I have already mentioned over here into my community. So you can just pretty much copy paste. So this is what we'll be building. So this is the chat trigger. This is connected to the AI agent. So let's do that. So what you need to do is chat trigger. This is the chat. Okay, just test chat. This is how it would work. Connect to the AI agent node. Okay, this is the AI agent node that I have. So what happens is it's trying to connect to the AI agent. That means everything that we type is actually going to get passed to the AI agent. And then what we'll do is also connect the chat model. For now, I'll just go with OpenAI. Okay, I'll go with 4.0. First thing that you need to do is select the credential. So to do that is very simple. You just go to Open Docs. Okay, it has got everything related to OpenAI. Now we go to OpenAI. So this is what you need to do. Create an OpenAI account. If you don't have, no, everything is straightforward. So now I have an OpenAI account. I'll just log into my OpenAI account. So platform.openai.com. And if you go to settings, API keys, okay, create a new secret API key. Let's give it, like, you can do anything. So N8N API key. Okay, I'll just add a project, default project, and then create a secret key. Okay, I'll just copy. I'll absolutely destroy this API key once I'm done with this tutorial. But yeah, you can just don't share this with anyone. Okay, and then what I'll do, I'll just paste this API key over here. Click on save. If it goes green, that means connection was successful. You don't need to do anything over here. So that is all good. Now I will just select GPT 4.0 because that is much more efficient model in terms of the input and the output tokens. So I've selected GPT 4.0. Now I have my model connected. I'll go with simple memory tool because simple memory tool is quite easy to implement. So what we'll try to do is the context window length is 5. That means it will try to remember last 5 messages that I have. So I'll keep it simple. I'll not do anything over here as well. And then what we plan to do is basically create 2 new tools to be able to pull the data. That is the lead qualification agent that you have, this one, and the email outreach agent that you have, right? These are 2 tools that this agent need. So I'll just click on this save. Okay, I'll rename this to personal AI agent. Let's call this main. Okay, and this is the main workflow. Now we'll create another workflow, which we will be creating is this workflow, which is, so this is done. Okay, so we'll be creating tool prompts for mail agent, which is the lead qualification. So what you do is just copy paste this name, you create a new agent. So this is the new workflow that I have, and we'll try to execute it from a sub workflow. So let's say this one, okay, when executed by another workflow. So you don't need to do anything over here. It's simple, accept all the data and just execute the steps. So this is what will be triggering from the lead call, from the main agent. And then what we need to do is, so when executed by another workflow, okay, this is done. And now you need to pull all the data from the Google Sheet that we have. So this is the Google Sheet. This is linked to my contact form over here. If you see this, this is a Google form. Now what I need is another node which pulls this detail. So I'll go back to N8N. I'll go Google Sheets. Okay. And then what we need to do is get rows in the sheet. Okay. So again, you need one more credential, which is the Google credential to work with. So I'll create a Google credential, now create a new credential. It's again a bit more, it's a bit more complex, but I'll keep things very simple. So if you go to Open Docs, okay, you need a Google Cloud account. So this is the Google Cloud account. Go to the Google Cloud account. I'll just select my agency's account over here. Okay. And then go to console. So what you need is basically set up this credentials that you have. So OAuth 2 is what is required. So if you go to the project, so what you do is basically you go to this new project. Okay. And then I'll name it as, let's say, N8N Google project. Okay. Create project. Now once this is getting created, we will do few more things, which is, so select the project. Once this is created, now you need to do few things, which is, so now this is selected. Okay, you go to the left hand screen, you go to APIs and services, then you go to credentials. Okay, and then this will load up. Okay, and then what you need to do is create the credentials for this particular project. So you go and create the credential, which is OAuth client ID. Okay, and then it gives you a message saying to create OAuth client ID, you must first configure the consent screen. Okay, let's configure the consent screen as well. So go to consent screen. Okay, getting started. I'll just maybe give a name called as Google and then Google app. Okay, let's add support email, my same email, audience. So this time you just try to give it to external. Okay, select the external next, then add your agency email, whatever it is, contact information. I agree, continue, and then create. So this will try to create the OAuth consent screen. Okay, so this is done. And then create OAuth client. Okay, application type is web. I'll give N8N client. Okay, and then what you need to do is copy this OAuth redirect URL, paste it to authorize redirect URL over here. Okay, add URL, redirect URL, and then create. Okay, this will give you everything what we need. So this is the client ID and this client secret. Again, I'll delete this up for sure. So please don't try to do anything with this. Copy this client ID over here, copy this secret key over here. Okay, and this click on save. Once this is saved, you have your credentials up and running. You just need to test it out. So sign in with Google. Now let's see, you try to use the same email that you create the credentials for. Okay, there was an error. There's something that is happening over here. Okay, go back, close. I'll just quickly save this. There's something that we are missing. Maybe data access. Okay, branding, authorized audience. Okay, we need to add test users, so make sure you add the test user as well. Keep the same email, price agency dot, because this is not an external app, so we'll try to create a text user as well. Okay, this is done. Okay, now just go back to the step, Google Sheet credentials, edit, and let's try to do again. Okay, growth agency. Okay, this time Google hasn't verified the app, so you continue, and now it will try to give all the access to whatever services that we want. So continue. Okay, so connection was successful, and then sheet within the document, get rows. Now you try to get it from the list. Okay, this is not, it's forbidden because we haven't enabled one more thing from the Google console, which is, so you try to make sure this is selected. Okay, you go to this API called as Google Sheets. Okay, now this should be enabled. So we go to this, make sure to enable this out, because it will give you a forbidden access error. So try to resolve this out with this access permissions. Okay, once this is done, okay, now it's enabled. You go back, edit, Again, try to log in. Okay, this time it should work. Continue. Okay, it's got access. Continue. Connection is successful. Close the tab. And from the list, oh, there's something issue that is going on. Check your credentials. Okay, I'll do one thing, which is I'll delete the node and I'll just go again. So Google Sheets, read rows. Okay, so Google Sheets, read get rows, same credential from the list. Okay, not Google Drive API has not been used for the project before. Or okay, we also need to enable Google Drive API. So you go back to Google Drive. Let's do Google Drive. Okay, this time Google Drive. Let's try to enable this as well. Enable. Okay, let's wait on this. Okay, this is now done. So let's try to get from the list now. Refresh. Refresh the sheet. Sign with Google. Root transparency. Continue. Okay, so same permission. So this is done. Should from the sheet. Okay, there you go. So you just constantly watch out for errors. It would get resolved if you specifically look into those issues and try to fix them up. Okay, so this is the sheet that we are trying to get the data from. So contact information. Now this is the form responses with this sheet. Okay, this is the sheet and this is the tab. Okay, now everything is done on that end. Just try to execute. You should get 2 rows. All good over here. Now this is all good. Now what we'll do is basically message this model, which is link up this to a OpenAI message node and then merge both of the rows. I'll tell you why we need to merge this out as well. So you message a model, which is OpenAI. Okay, you message a model and then okay, and then select the OpenAI credential, which we already have. Keep it text, message a model. Okay, select from the list. Let's do GPT-4o. Okay, GPT-4o. So prompt is the one that you need to copy paste, which is user prompt. So you'll receive the lead details from the contact form. Please evaluate them based on qualification rules. These are the fields, and then this is the text. So I'll just copy paste this prompt. So I'll copy paste this prompt. This is the user prompt. Okay. Now if you see, this is already getting populated, but this will work since this is now completely green. This means this is actually pulling out the details from the form itself. But if for some reason it's not, it's completely red, you can just copy paste and drag and drop the fields and what you need to pass on is add. So this is done. And then we also need the system prompt, which is you are a lead qualification agent, review the submissions on contact form. So copy. And what you need to do is add a message as system, paste the prompt. Okay. And then what you need to do is execute the steps. So let's see what we get out of this. So we should get, 2 specific rows. So this is the specific row that we passed, and then we have the specific content, which is this one. Okay, we also have the reasoning, and then this is the reasoning as well. Okay, so all good over here. Now what I'll do is basically I have got one more thing to do over here, which is merge the data that we have from the sheet as well as from the message, from the OpenAI message node. So what we'll do is, if you see the data that we have, we are basically trying to merge this data along with the data that is coming from the sheet. So what I'll do is I'll basically create a merge node. Okay. So there is the combine. That means we are merging the node and we are going to merge by positions. That means basically whatever we are trying to get out of this will also try to merge it with the node that is coming up, and there are 2 inputs to it. So we'll do one more thing, which is merge this out to this one. Okay, I'll just tidy up the workflow. Okay, this is what I get. Now if I run this node, execute the step, I should get the row data. Okay, as well as the OpenAI data message that we got out of it. Okay, so this is the OpenAI message. If you see, this is the message that we get. Okay, this is the column that we get. So message. Okay, now the next step is basically updating the sheet with that specific message. So what I do is I do a Google Sheet. Okay, update row in the sheet, and this time again the same credentials sheet within the document. This time it's gonna be update row. What we'll plan to do is whatever updates that we need to do is basically you need to do an update on the rating. We also need to do an update on the reasoning and on the outreach, because those details are also coming out from the OpenAI, which you can see over here. Okay, this everything is coming out in JSON format. Okay, so there's also one more thing that we need to do over here, which is output content as JSON, because this was coming as text. Now it will try to output everything as JSON over here. So if you see this, okay, so this is the JSON. This is now actual fields that you can pretty much copy and drag and drop. Okay, now if you go to update sheet, this one you need to select the same sheet, you need to select the same tab. Okay, and then what we need to do is basically map each column manually, and the column that we need to match on is the timestamp, because whatever we are trying to update will be actually updated based on the timestamp. So for this timestamp, this is the row that will try to update. For this timestamp, this is the second row that will try to update. And then what we need to do is basically update few fields that we know, which is, I think I'll just remove the other fields, which is company, timestamp. We don't need, okay, timestamp, it's a matching node. So I'll execute the previous node. This is the timestamp that we are getting. Okay. I'll just remove the name, address, rating. Oh, sorry. Okay, we need to add rating, which is rating. Okay, so we need to basically update these three fields: rating, reasoning, and outreach. So I'll just drag and drop the fields from rating, reasoning, and outreach. So rating is the qualification status. Okay, reasoning is the one that we have, the reason for why it is qualified or not. And the next step is the outreach strategy. So this is the strategy. Okay, when you execute the steps, this will be successfully executed. That means your sheet will be filled up with all the details that we have on these three columns. These are all done. Okay. So now that was the agent, the qualification. I'll just start here, the workflow here. I'll just return the agent with an edit field. It says manual mapping. Let's add a field status. Okay. This is optional, but I'll just do it. This is a good practice. So whenever a specific part is done, we'll just return the status as done. Okay, so this is the complete workflow on the lead qualification. Now we'll try to build the next agent, the tool, which is this one, which is the email agent. Okay, email outreach agent. Okay, so let's get straight into that as well. Okay, so let's get into building the next part, which is email outreach agent. Now, just for better organization, I'll just organize my workflow quite properly now. So I'll create a workflow. I've just created a new folder outside, which is personalized outreach AI agent, which consists of main node as well as a tool. So I'll create a new workflow over here. Okay, this will be executed from the parent workflow. So this will just accept all the data, whatever parent has to call. Okay, so execute, and this node will get executed. The next thing that I want to do is get all the rows from the Google Sheet. So I'll add a Google Sheets node. Okay, simple, get all the rows. So this is the rows. Okay, select the same credential that you created, sheet within the document, and then get rows is the operation that we need to do. Select the list. So from this is the contact sheet that we are using, which is this one. Okay, then we need to also select the tab, which is this one that we are pulling the details from, and then just click on execute. It will pull all the details from the Google Sheet. So this is got pulled. Now we just need to message it to the OpenAI. That means to create a personalized message, we need to send it to the OpenAI node or any other AI node. Or my case, I'm using OpenAI to get a personalized email out of it. So we'll just use OpenAI node. Okay, and use this action called as message model. Okay, again, same thing. I'll just select the same credential that I have, the OpenAI credential that is using my API key. Keep the resource as text. Operation should be message a model, and then you can select a model from here. I'm going to go with GPT-4o. So I'll just quickly go with the sheet. Yeah, this one. Okay. Now I already have the user prompts and system prompts for this agent, which you can pretty much copy paste. So if you join my community, you'll be able to get this. Okay. So this is user prompt. I'll just copy paste the user prompt over here. Now check on these variables. They're actually getting pulled out from these, on the left hand side, which is the inputs that are coming out from the sheet. You can pretty much have different variables. Now these are turned green because they are valid inputs. If they were kind of red ones, that means you need to replace it with the original variables, like just by dragging drop the variables over here. Okay, so we did basically, you will receive the email, you'll receive the details about the lead. Please generate a personalized email message if the rating is qualified. Okay, now these are the details. And then I'll also do one thing, which is paste the system prompt for my AI agent. So I'll add a message, and this time it would be a system prompt. I'll paste it up. This prompt would basically say, you are an email personalized agent. Your job is to create short, catchy, and professional email message based on the leads that are qualified. Okay. So these is the input variables. And then we have a few rules that we specifically tell key. If it is unqualified, don't output anything. If it is qualified, just write an email. Okay. Then we also mention the style, which is the email should be friendly and it should be concise and engaging. Also use personalization variables, keep the email short and all of that, right? And we are also going to use a sign of signature, which is my agency, which is growth agency. Okay, now this is what we'll be doing. Other than that, we'll also be using this output content as JSON, which means I'll be able to use this variable as a JSON object to be able to pass it on to some other step. Okay, so I'll execute this step. Let's see what we get out of this. So it's running the node. It will take some time for it to complete. Okay, let's just wait. I'll click on save for time being. Okay, so while this is running, I'll just try to do one more node, which is the merge node. Now what the merge node will do, it will just merge the inputs from the sheet as well as the inputs from the assistant. So what I'll do is I'll just paste this over here, add a merge node. Okay, this will try to merge everything. So instead of appending, we're just combining, and we're combining based on positions. Okay, position means the first row should also match with the first row of the assistant that we are using. So number of inputs is 2. You can keep it to whatever elements you want. So this is running. Okay, I'll just click on save again. Maybe I have to refresh it up again, and then I'll just link these 2 arrows, which is, so I'll tidy up the workflow a bit. So what exactly is happening is our sheet has got these rows, right? All the Google Sheet rows, right? Everything from this sheet, and then everything from the message node, which is the OpenAI node, would also get added and basically combined into a single object that we can pass on to different nodes. Okay, so I'll just save this a bit and just refresh this. Okay, I don't know why, due to some reason it was taking some long. Okay, I'll try to execute this workflow. So this is what it's executing. It's got the sheets, and then it's trying to query the OpenAI. Okay, let's wait for this to be done. It's still taking time. Don't know why it's taking time. So because message model, and then you have all the details. Simplify output. I'm also using my OpenAI account. Not sure why it's taking some time. Okay, let me check the balance as well. If everything is good on the balance. Okay, I do have a lot of balance available. There's something issue on the API. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's just choose some other model. Let's go with GPT-4 mini. Yeah, this one 4.1 mini. Let's try to execute the steps. There could be some issue with GPT-4o. Okay, not sure why this is not popping up. But yeah, so basically what you need to do is use the model, okay? And then whenever this is going to work out, we'll just try to merge the operation over here, okay? Now the next thing what you need to do is basically update this column that we have, which is the reply email. So we'll do simple thing, which is add another node, which is going to be Google Sheet. Okay, this time is going to be Google Sheet, and this time the operation is going to be update the row in the sheet. Same credentials, okay, and then this is the sheet, same thing, update row is the operation. From the list, I'm going to select the same sheet. From another, the sheet, the specific tab is again the same. This time, what we'll do is probably match it out again based on time step. And this time we'll only update the reply email one. Okay. So this earlier we already had updated, and matching column is timestamp. So I'll add a timestamp and this add, let's say for time being, we are doing, test. So this text will get updated whenever this workflow will be done. Okay. So I'll just paste and again reiterate, refresh. Not sure why it's taking so long, but ideally it won't take too long and the entire workflow will work absolutely fine. So this is, again getting placed. Okay, it's taking some time, but yeah, so you basically got the idea. This is how the workflow will be, implemented. And now what you need to do is basically stop once this is done. Okay, I see this has got completed. I think so. Let me check. No, it's still not there. What sure, what is this? It doesn't take too long, to be honest. Okay, could be some other issue. But so now what we need to do is basically link these 2 tools that we created to our main tool. So if you go to, so let's say I'll just revamp this and rename this tool, which is Email Outreach AI Agent. Okay, I'll go to this. This is actually a tool. Okay, this is not AI agent. This is like a sub tool of it. I'll go to the main agent and I'll just link this to workflows. So I'll close this out. Tool would be first, call the another N8N workflow. This time I'll just copy paste this tool prompt. So call this tool when we are calling the lead qualification tool, call this tool to qualify the leads from the Google Sheet data. I'll just copy paste this. I'll select from the source database, and then I'll select the lead qualification tool over here. This workflow will get executed. Now, if you just execute this, it would get executed again. It is called the OpenAI node as well. So this is done. Okay. This is connected. The second tool that we need to create and connect is basically the email outreach tool. So copy this as well, paste the prompt, again the same, copy this, call this agent to send personalized outreach messages for qualified leads in the sheet. And then you select the email outreach agent. This time again, you execute the steps, and hopefully this should get executed from the parent workflow. So let's see to it. Again, if it takes time, I'll maybe do another video on what exactly went wrong with this, OpenAI node. So it's again taking time, but yeah. So that's how, the overall agent would work. Now, whenever you would try a text over here, hi, I'll just click on save because it, it gets, so I'll refresh. Okay. So if I click on, if I add a hi, do you have, this will give a call to this agent, which is lead qualification agent, and then based on this agent will give all the outputs over here. Okay, simple as that. So that's how entire thing would work, and I hope you like the video. You can again download all the resources that I have in the community, and I'll be doing a lot of this content in the next coming videos as well around agents. So if you like the content, please like and subscribe, and see you in the next video. Thanks.